I've got a lot of revenge on my mind for a few people. It's like, I ain't losing to these. Come on! Yeah! Hold on to your seatbelt because it's about to get bumpy. Hello boys and girls, so 2-1, we win. But I'll tell you something, they enough put me through it. That was real hard work, to be quite honest with you. I think we can kind of expect that kind of game from Burnley. I feel that their only real threat was from crosses. But like I said, I feel that that was to be expected from them. We know what they play like, they're very physical. But I felt some of the lads out there today, especially the new ones, stood up to the challenge. I thought defensively we looked okay. I felt the real problem for me was out wide in the left back and the right back positions. We weren't shutting them down. We weren't getting to the crosses quick enough. And if you allow teams to supply, then they're going to cause problems. So that would be my only downside to today, that, you know, left back and right back are clearly an issue, but they are areas that we have addressed, and we just have to wait for the main choice players to be fit and ready. Hector Bellerin, of course, will come back in when he's fit and play in the right back position, and Kieran Tierney will come and play in the left back position once he's fit and ready. So you kind of have to make do, and needs must. So there we go. Now, before I go and get into the player ratings, I've got to send a massive shout out to Elite Clothing, because they've hooked me up with this t-shirt. The great man, Thierry Henry. If you go onto Instagram, you can find their page on there. I'll drop a link in the description. They got loads of stuff on there. Go check them out because they got some very good stuff. But yeah, listen, in terms of the player ratings, let's go and get into that. Starting off in goal, Leno. And you know what? He made a save in the first half. It was offside and it wouldn't have counted, but he didn't know that. What an unbelievable save. That for me was right up there with the save that he made against Spurs last season. I felt a couple of times he come out for crosses and he could have done a little better, and you know, Luiz and that had to head him away. But overall, it was a decent enough performance, and I'll give Leno a 6 for today. Starting off in the right back position, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. And again, like I said earlier, I just feel that that's a problem area. You'll have one game where he looks unbelievably good, and then you'll have a game where he just looks like he's going through the motions. He's just so laid back. And you kind of want to give him a kick up the backside, but I just felt that he wasn't shutting down as good today, and it was a problem on both sides, and I feel that Burnley kind of exploited those areas. So for today, I'm going to give Maitland-Niles a 5. I'm going to go over to the other side on the left, and Nacho Monreal, and the same kind of thing as Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I feel that he was the side that they really exposed, and I feel that Burnley kind of looked at him as being the major weak link on that side. But yeah, for his performance, he works hard, don't get me wrong, but just not enough for me. And I'm looking forward to seeing when Tierney comes into the side. So for today, Nacho gets a 5. Going to go into the centre-backs, and like I said, I don't think they had a bad game today. I felt they dealt with a lot of the physical stuff. David Luiz, I can see why he came into the side. I can see his experience. Looks very comfortable on the ball. There was a couple of moments where he's pinged those really long passes, and they're nice to have within the side because, you know, we get penned in a lot at times, and you know, it's a good outlay, a good outball, shall we say. So yeah, solid enough performance, and I'll give David Luiz a 7. Alongside him, Sokratis, and again, same kind of thing as Luiz, really. Dealt with the physical side of things, stood up, wasn't too rash when, you know, called upon and everything else. And like Luiz, I will also give him a 7. I'm going to move into the 2 that sit in front of the 4. First of all, we'll have Guendouzi. And I don't think it was his best game today. Don't get me wrong, he was not bad. It's just that I don't think he suits the style that we want to play, especially at home. I just feel that he needs someone else next to him. It was too similar around him, apart from Ceballos. But I look at that and I just think, although worked hard, his play was too sideways, it was too slow, and I felt that we're just missing that little bit of an injection inside that, you know, area. And they're the kind of positions where you got to release the ball quick. But he worked hard, don't get me wrong on that side of things, but I will give him a 6 for his performance today. Alongside him, Joe Willock, another good performance, worked really hard. He was the energetic one that really tried to drive into the gaps and the space and everything else. And it would have done him good to have got 90 minutes under his belt. It really would have. And I think that overall, it was a decent enough performance from Joe. But again, with Guendouzi, I can't really give him more than a 6, to be quite honest with you. And that's what I'm going to go with. Next up, we have Dani Ceballos making his debut, his start, shall we say, and he was my man of the match. And the best way of describing this guy is that he was very reminiscent to Santi Cazorla. He was brilliant. He can just drop a shoulder, lose a man, and he was so direct, so controlling. And it was overall a very, very good performance. And I'm going to give Ceballos a 9 for today because I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Starting off on the right-hand side, we had Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And on the right-hand side, he just does not do well. He looked so much more comfortable when we moved him to the left in the second half. He got the all-important winning goal. And he's just hitting the ground running. He's going to score a bagful this season, to be quite honest. And I'm going to give him an 8 because he got the winning goal. Moving on to the left hand side, we have Reiss Nelson, and it was not a great performance from him today, to be quite honest with you. I felt he looked a little out of sorts, struggled with the physical side of things, and I felt it was the right decision to take him off at half time. And although harsh, you have to kind of be fair with what I give him, and I believe that for that first half performance I can't give him more than a 4, to be quite honest with you. Up front, as the main striker, we had Alexandre Lacazette, and again, works really hard. Looked a little disappointed to come off, but needs must. And I feel that those minutes and the goal he scored as well will do him good going into next week against Liverpool and then Spurs, etc., etc. So, yeah, for today, I will give Alexandre Lacazette a 7. In terms of the substitutions, Nicola Pepe came on at half-time, and I'll tell you something, you saw in that second half just what he's all about. The quick feet, the movement, the pace, the directness. There was one pass he laid into Aubameyang with a chance that he had. He had a couple of little pot shots, but you can see that in a few weeks' time, when he really starts to get up to speed with the Premier League and he starts to get an understanding of his teammates and everything else, he is going to be some threat. He really, really is. And I thought it was a really good performance from him, really direct. And I'm going to give him a 7 as well, actually, for his performance, because I felt that he was instrumental in changing the mindset in the second half, where we were very flat and not so direct. I feel that he upped the tempo a bit. Next substitute was Kolasinac. He came on. I don't think he was really on for long enough to be marking him, to be quite honest with you. So I'm not really going to mark him down. Next substitution was Lucas Torreira again. Had a chance to score, to be honest. Very busy, and I feel that he needs to now come in the side. He needs to now be, you know, the main man in there in front of that back four, and more minutes under his belt, but not long enough to mark him. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm not going to mark him for this one. Manager's rating, Unai Emery. It was a decent attacking lineup. I just felt that we were lacking a little something in that midfield area. It was a little bit too similar. Not enough real creativity apart from Ceballos. And I'll give Unai Emery a 7. He had to make the changes. He was bold in making it at half time. And it changed the game. So yeah, I'll give him a 7. In terms of the fans today, a lot of noise, but I've got to question the the block 26 area that we was all being told about. There was going to be a drum and there was going to be all this kind of noise and everything else, but I never heard a thing. I never heard a single drum throughout the course of the game. I don't know what's happened. I fully agree with the lads and what they're trying to do and want to do, but I didn't hear anything today. I don't know what was actually going on. I feel that the whole stadium was in voice. And I feel that blocks 9 and 10 right around the other side of the North Bank made just as much noise as the clock end. So I don't know what actually happened, and I'll be interested to see whether there was a drum or not, but I'm not the only person that's actually mentioned this, and nobody could actually hear it. And we've had European teams come to the Emirates and they've had drums, and you can hear it throughout the whole stadium. So I don't know, we'll wait and see what actually happened with that. In terms of the fans, listen, give them a 10, because they stuck by the players. They never got on their back, and they weren't, you know, getting too downbeat when it went 1-1. And, you know, we had done what we had to do. And yeah, you're gonna have to give the fans the credit, because they were all there. There weren't an empty seat in the house. From where I was sitting, it didn't look it anyway. So yeah, good day at the office, shall we say. So there we go, that is it for the player ratings. And it's second victory of the season. We haven't kept a clean sheet. Would have been nice if we did, but listen, we got the 3 points, which is all that matters. So we move on to a massive double header now. We've got Liverpool at Anfield next week, and then we've got Spurs at home. So there'll be a preview for the game against Liverpool. There is a match day vlog after the game of Liverpool, because of course it's one of the big sides in the top 6, and those are the games that I will be vlogging this season. And then of course there will be player ratings as well. So until the next lot of videos, I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.